two jigs that you can use, and they're hanging up on the wall kind of the other side of the TV. Use the A or the B. So this one says A here, and that one says B. You can use either one of them, but don't use the other ones. The other ones get too big. You're going to also want to keep track of which jig that you use, because once you determine which jig you're going to be using, you're going to want to use that for your whole edition. You're not going to like print on the A jig and then switch to a B jig. You don't want to like, you want to get jiggy with it. You don't want to get that jiggy with it. Okay, so how do we do this? So, so I had your paper. You're going to give yourself basically an inch border on the left, the right, and the bottom when your print is done. But you need to have an extra amount of height in order to compensate for where the jig and these registration kind of pins are going to be. So if you look at this, what I've done kind of is a line here, like a red line drawn out where the corner of the block is. And this kind of dark line here almost represents the edge of the block. It's close enough. What you're simply going to do is kind of take your paper and kind of split the distance left to right, and then just kind of slide it up all the way here until it pushes up against those pins. So it's kind of centered left to right. If you want to, you can actually kind of see the block kind of through the paper too. If you need to, you can shift it over a little bit. And what you're going to do next is take this divider here, which goes over the pins, and simply take a pencil and just kind of trace a light line. And another thing I should mention, make sure that you have the rough side face down on your block, because that's the printing side. The smooth side is the back. So I'm making these marks just on the back. And the reason why I make these marks with this divider is because the divider is about the same width as the hole punch. So what I can do, and you can also do this with multiple sheets at the same time. This stuff's pretty thin, the massa paper. So you can take this, so you see the marks that I made? I'm just going to take them and they line up with the outside of my hole punch pretty much exactly. And I'm going to take my 2 sheets or 3 sheets, whatever you want to do. I wouldn't do probably punch more than 3 at a time because it gets a little too thick then. But make sure if you do punch them that you have both sheets facing the right, like upside, the rough side down. Don't have one turned around and one, that would be bad. That'd be bad. Okay, so I'm just sliding it in here, and let's go ahead and punch this. I got 2 of them. Voila. And now what will happen is I'll take them over here, and they'll go right on top. So when I go to print, what's going to happen is I'm going to ink up my wood, and I'm going to take my block and put it back on the press bed. But then I'm going to take this jig and put it on the press bed too, and I'm going to slide my block till it's flush inside of this jig and have my paper on top of it like so. But I don't print the jig. What I do is then is I pull the paper off and then I run it through the press. And that's how I do 1 layer. Then I go back, when I do my 2nd layer, I'm going to line it up the exact same way, use the same jig, and it should line, the paper's going to line up in the same spot each time. It's really pretty simple.
Flip it back over?
You don't do that anymore.
Oh,
That's the
so
nice
you
thing
teach
about
us
it.
something and then you say forget all of that.
That's you only need that if you're doing a 1 color.
Forget. Yeah, because you lay it down that way. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, I have seen people have done it. They do flip it around. It's just a lot more labor involved in doing that, and there's more